Last time on the Incorrigible Party.
Arriving at the Knowledge Center to find a store of wizards' armament being handed out to those willing to fight, the party charges to the second anchor to find Dreg and Keek holding off an attack of deep scions of their own. Besting the assailants, Dreg teleports surviving ritual casters to the Elder's Keep in order to get the anchor back online. Meanwhile, the party flanks the advancing army, tactfully ambushing groups of enemies and destroying barrels of the black ooze that is being used to resurrect the dead to slow the tide of the invaders. Liberating some enemy cannons, the party's efforts and the rally of the Heracleonians successfully repel the invaders as Dreg gets the safety shell functioning once more.
Oh, what was that you wanted? More adventure? You got it.
Shakara, what do you think you dream of?
Probably dream of my home and looking out on the ocean with the wind blowing.
That does sound very lovely. And as you've fallen asleep and are in this dream world, it kind of fades away, and you find yourself weightless, floating in a familiar blue void for the second time. Below, the city of Heracleon, it zooms towards you. You have this kind of high up, bird's eye view. You see the entirety of it. It's either on fire or the buildings have been reduced to rubble. And in the epicenter of it all stands Erica, her right arm missing, but her left is raised into the air as she cackles at the destruction. Looming before her, as if forming from the rubble itself at her beckon, the small form of a kraken begins to rise. It starts to balloon to full size, rapidly expanding before your eyes. But appearing behind Erica is this version of you, this doppelganger that you've seen before, composed entirely of blue light. And the duplicate Shakara raises her longsword, driving it through Erica's back, outer chest. Her cackling ceases, turning into a choking as she coughs up blood, until even that stops, her raised left arm dropping to her side. As her limp body slides off of light Shakara's blade, the swelling from the kraken begins to recede, finally deflating to nothing, melting back into this rubble. The fire that consumes this city extinguishes, and the landscape below fades away, leaving nothing but the blue void once more. And even that slowly fades to black as you wake up to an almost imperceptible hum in the back of your head, drawing your eye to your pack.
Okay. I'll open my pack.
And you kind of find the what you suss out as the origin of the humming. It seems like it's coming from the lead box that you have.
I will look around to see what the others are doing.
Seems like they're still asleep, as it's not quite morning yet.
I will very carefully open the lead box.
And inside your Dendar brand, it's glowing with a blue heat.
I will take it out and think about the dream, and I will brand my right arm next to the previous brand.
As the sizzle of your flesh kind of cuts the silence around you in Alamar's office here, you feel kind of a similar surge as when you first put on your ring. Just kind of course up your arm and through your body. That almost orgasmic feeling, I think we described it as
I haven't heard this one yet.
Well, hello.
Oh, alright.
Guess I need to get a branding iron.
We're gonna ruin it. This is why we usually keep you on mic.
I ruined the flow, but it was too good.
And that feeling kind of subsides, and you're left with understanding that you something's been added to you. Like you've come away with more from this experience.
I will whisper. Thank you.
And try to go back to sleep, or you want to be up? I mean, it's fairly close to morning.
I think I'd be awake now. So I will get up and start. There are windows in this office, right?
There actually aren't.
I guess I'll just get up and kind of walk around and leave the tiny hut and see what it looks like from the outside.
Well, it's definitely not invisible. I imagine that. I'm not sure. What color did you make it look like there, Falsey?
Just kind of the color of the walls around you.
It nearly melts away in this back wall of Alamar's office. Camouflaged very well. And as the rest of you kind of starts to come to as well, Falzarin, you wake up to that familiar piercing pain radiating from your chest, and your hit point maximum is drained by 3 points. And looking down at your chest under your robe, you see these green veins, like under the surface of your skin, originating from your scapulet, kind of reaching across your chest like grasping hands.
Oh, this is... what is going on with this thing?
Falzarin, are you awake?
Yeah, the same thing's happening again, Shakara. It's... this thing in my chest is... it must be Isabella draining my life force even further.
I am sorry there is nothing I can do for you.
That's okay.
Well, we know that Isabella's probably still alive then.
It's true.
I think I'll know if and when she dies.
And do a happy dance?
Yep. Add her to the list.
Yep.
Wait, she's already on the list.
So, what do you guys want to do today?
Well, I'm going to start out the day by taking out these shackles and take a good look at them and attune myself to them.
Great. I think we spoke off mic that your goggles of night, when you originally got them, I made you attune to them, but that is actually not how they function. So you do not need to attune to the goggles of night. So you are only attuned to 2 items, your magic bow and the ring of the ram. So no problems with attuning to the manacles. Now, does anyone else, because remember you can have 2 people attuned to them, do you want to let someone else attune to them? You can't do it at the same time, so it would take an hour after one of you go first, right, Shaft? Again, up to you.
I think I'm going to ask everybody. It's out of Shaft's nature, but I think... So, guys, you remember that I told you about these shackles I have and the abilities that they possess. So one of you could also study these shackles and have it work for you. That's my understanding. The question is, who?
Oh, I remember those things are pretty cool. I've never studied any magic items. I've never attuned to anything.
I'm not... yeah, I don't think that's really my type of thing. I'm not very strong to be wrestling around with prisoners.
I'm interested if you want to teach me, Shaft.
Sure.
How long will this take?
Take about an hour, and then we'll be on our way. Eat some breakfast. We're gonna have a long day ahead of us.
Falzarin, while they are examining the manacles, may I have a private conversation with you?
Sure.
We'll go upstairs to Alamar's sleeping area. I believe Dendar has given me another vision.
Well, if you want to share with me, I'd be happy to hear.
I believe my goals now align with yours. Dendar showed me killing Erica.
Oh, I see. Did you happen to see where that was supposed to happen?
I was shown that we were inside the city of Heraklion.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess that's good and bad. It's good to know that if this comes true, that Erica will meet her end, but I would rather that she not make it inside the walls of Heraklion.
I'll pull up my arm and I'll show him the second brand.
Oh my. That looks a little bit painful.
I am used to it. I believe she has blessed me in some way I have yet to discover.
Ah, I see.
I do not think my alliance with Dendar is the same as your pact with Isabella.
You might be right. I hope you're right. Because we've got enough on our plates right now. We don't need another alliance that's slowly destroying one of us.
That is true. But this gives me hope that we can kill Erica. And if we can kill Erica, we should be able to also kill Isabella.
You might be right. Yeah, I have my suspicions that Erica may be the stronger of the two, in which case, if we're able to vanquish her, Isabella may not be all that difficult of a foe to go up against. I appreciate you sharing this with me, and I'm optimistic as you are that this is a positive thing, that you're... what was the word that you used for your relationship with Dendar?
My alliance.
Yes, your alliance. Your alliance with Dendar. Hopefully this can be a positive thing that will help us.
Yes, I believe it will be.
Now, I assume that you'd rather me keep this private until you're ready to... until a time if and when you're ready to share it with the others?
Yes, I am not sure how Mia would take all of this.
Ah, I see. Okay. Well, if it helps, I can tell you that Shaft probably, he's not the judgmental type.
Shav seems to go with the flow of things.
He does, yes. Like I said, I think he looks out for number one, but yeah, he doesn't pass too many judgments.
I will join you downstairs in a minute. I must see to this branding.
Sure, okay. So I return downstairs to join the rest of them.
And I will tend my burn and wrap it up.
So you see, Mia, you put this on their arm, right?
Yeah,
And then it locks in.
right.
That's how a shackle works.
Yeah, following you so far.
Yep. And then there's one on the other side that does the same thing.
Cool.
Yeah, I think you know everything you need to know.
I thought there was magic involved.
Oh, there is. I think that sort of comes naturally. We haven't done it yet. I don't know how it's going to work. It's just what I've been told. So it'll be interesting.
Should we try it out now?
We can.
I mean, do you want to make sure you got what you paid for?
Not a bad idea. So let's talk about how that works for a second. The shackles, shafts, shackles of shackling. So let's see. You said on this, if you and up to another creature may attune to these shackles. Attuned creatures can use an action to magically teleport to an unoccupied space adjacent to the shackled creature. So I'll say, put your shackles on you. I'm going to walk down the hall and see if I can teleport back to you.
Nervously, Mia looks up at him and raises her wrists up. Okay. Here goes nothing.
Now, she can also unshackle them, correct?
So when you shackle them, when you put them on someone, you can designate any number of creatures that are able to unlock them as you do it.
Okay. So we'll do that. I'll open the door a crack and look out. See, do I see anybody in the hallway?
You don't see anybody, but you do hear voices.
Okay. I'll sort of slide out, shut the door, walk a few feet, and then think to myself, teleport back to the shackles.
Click your red heels.
And Mia, suddenly Shaft appears in an unoccupied space adjacent.
Whoa. Personal space. I need some personal space.
Well, looks like they work.
That was awesome.
Say, all right, let me have them, and then we'll keep that in our back pocket just in case.
All right, I undo them and hand them to him. Thanks. Cool.
Put them in my pouch.
All right, great. So that does take up an attunement spot for both of you. 1 of 3 for both of you.
Okay.
Okay. What now?
So we see Falzarin come back down, right? We'll say, so I guess we got to go find Dreg and figure out if he's going to loan us this ring so we can get out of here.
Yeah, I doubt he'll loan it to us, but perhaps he'll come along and let us through.
Either way, as long as we can get through and take care of Erica and Chucky.
Yes. Yeah, I wonder if Heraklion would lend some of its powerful wizards to the cause. So it's not just the 4 of us taking on this mass of people outside of the walls.
Absolutely.
I must take out Erica.
Well, yeah, that we're all going to, right?
No, I must be the one to slay her.
Okay, well, I mean, I think that's pretty hard to decide, Shikara. I mean...
Do you have a plan? Is there some special way you want to end her?
I believe the opportunity will present itself.
All right. You just let us know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if I see you in a position to lay the final blow, I'll give it to you.
That is all I ask.
Yeah.
Let's go find Dreg.
Yes, let's
just walk around. There's no reason anybody would have any problem with us. Most of the elders are either dead or gone.
I mean, we turned the tides of the war. People should know us. They should know our names. We're a big deal around here now.
We should not let this go to our heads, though. We were doing what we need to do.
It's true. But I mean, never hurt to get free breakfast or something.
I just ate.
Oh.
All right, let's go.
What about second breakfast?
Gotta let this settle first. Okay, walk out the door and head down toward the main hall.
And as you all leave the office, you hear those same voices, and there seems to be something going on in the lecture hall as you kind of round the corner and get to the first open door that leads in. Peering inside, there seems to be a number of people in there moving what look like bodies and covering them with sheets. And before they fully cover all of them, you do see Gundar and Sybil's lifeless bodies. They're coated in their own blood, their throats clearly slashed open. And they're among kind of 5 other bodies that are dressed in similar looking robes to the ritual casters that were attacked at each anchor point, some of which you managed to save.
Well, this is a sad day.
So it is true. They are all dead.
It appears that way, yeah.
Do you think we should, and I mean, it might be a little messy, but maybe go up and see if they had anything that might give us a clue as to what they were doing?
You want to rifle through these dead people's pockets?
When you put it that way, it sounds bad, but yeah.
No, I do not believe we need to do that.
Who is it that is in the room taking care of the bodies?
Nobody that any of you recognize. Well, maybe that's not true. Maybe you recognize a few faces from like the people that were gathered in the hall, or the ballroom. The previous night, the people that have sought shelter here during the attack. It seems some of them have been pitching in and helping out wherever they can. It seems, but nobody you know by name.
Mia will kind of nudge elbow Shikara and say, "Hey, I mean, 2 of them are elders. They might have some information. Just let Shaft do his thing. It's not like we're getting involved."
I do not know how I feel about that.
I don't either. I mean, that's why my initial reaction was so harsh, but what if there's information? We need to kill Erica. You said it this morning.
I'll call out to the people taking care of the bodies.
Were they found in this room?
Well, Elder Gundar was, along with the other 5, but Sybil, we found her in her own office.
I'll walk in and go over to the body and sort of lift. You said they were covered with sheets?
Yeah, they're in the process of covering them up, yeah.
I will uncover Sybil and say, yes, she's gone. And she did have some information that could be valuable to the attack. And I'll start looking through her pockets.
Okay.
Do I find anything?
The only thing you find is her ebony wand that you've seen her, the only times you've seen her, she's been constantly fiddling, like nervously fiddling with. That's all you find on her person.
I'm going to try to slide it up my sleeve without being noticed.
Okay, you can roll a sleight of hand.
Mia will talk to the person to try to aid in this.
Okay, sure, with advantage then.
I'll say, hey, how's it going?
That's
do you know
better.
any place
20.
that's good second breakfast?
20, you are able to sleeve her wand, absolutely.
So then I'll take the sheet and respectfully put it back over top of her face, and then I'll go over to, who was the other one, Gundar? And do the same. And just, I'm not going to pay any attention to them. I'm just going to do it like this is just something you should be doing.
Mia, I do not believe we have time for another breakfast.
Okay, Shakara, it's fine.
Just trying to help you distract.
Gundar, the only thing he has on are a pile of papers, and you actually see some of them are kind of littered around the floor and the podium that is set up in front of these chairs. And a quick glance, they are written in common. It kind of seems to be what he was like his lecture. It's his lecture notes, right, from the little bit that you overheard earlier yesterday while you were in the keep, and didn't want to interrupt his lecture and avoided speaking to him. But other than that, no, there doesn't seem anything of note on his person.
Okay, then I'll respectfully cover him back up again and go, unfortunately, they don't have anything that will help us. And walk over to the others.
Could Falzern have seen that Shaft pocketed that ebony wand?
You could do a perception, sure, if anyone.
14.
Falzern, Shaft's movements were too quick for even your eye to pick up as you were kind of distracted from Mia inquiring about second breakfast. And
All right.
Her distraction served well.
Okay, I'll say, yeah. Do you guys happen to know where Dreg is this morning?
And you see an elf in there, just finishing covering one of the other ritual casters' bodies with a sheet.
Oh yeah, they're in the ballroom getting breakfast, I think.
Ah, yes, breakfast, guys, let's go.
Shakara shakes her head.
No, only one.
Okay.
Thanks. And I'm going to walk out, head towards the main ballroom.
Go to the buffet.
And in the ballroom, there are still many people inside of it. Again, more faces that you recognize. And you do see Dreg there. It seems like he's preparing a platter of like individual meals, basically. Like care packages almost, like to-go dishes. It seems like. He's got kind of these deep bags under his eyes. He looks really tired, as if he hasn't slept at all night.
Hey, Dreg. How you doing?
Hello, friends. I hope you slept well.
Yeah, we're rested and ready to head out. You don't look so well.
Well, I have not been asleep myself. I've been busy getting our Team B up to snuff here, making sure the safety shell is maintained. I'm just actually bringing them some food.
Do you know of anybody that can help us on our attack here, on our sort of our flanking maneuver that we plan to do?
Well, I can't speak of anyone in the keep. I have heard the stories of the rallying forces of the citizens themselves. I'm sure we could find some volunteers.
Surely there must be some powerful wizards here in Heraklion that go with us.
Oh, there are many, but I imagine that the majority that are willing to fight may be drained from the previous night themselves. But I agree, it seems to be our only course of action. There is only one way out, and that would be quite a funnel to move a large number of people.
We may not need a lot. We just need the right people. And, of course, you or your ring.
It would be best to keep us to a smallish group.
I heard that they are still large numbers outside the walls. You think a small group will be sufficient?
It is if you take out the right people. We know who leads them, and once they're removed, I feel that the attack will take a sudden turn or at least halt.
Especially if we could get a few of those cannons again. Those were awesome.
We mayhaps could take over some that are already outside.
No, I think we find a couple guys, Falzarin, that you deem to be, I don't know, skilled in the magical arts.
Well, here's the thing, Shaft. Alstoff's a coward, remember?
There are many other people that we could choose.
I know, I guess you started talking about arts and Dreg's friends, and I started thinking about that little coward.
Nah, he's not going to be of any help. We need him there making stuff.
Alstoff's talents do lie elsewhere. Coward may be strong, but he certainly is not brave. For all his good qualities, he does have many faults.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some capable wizards that might have been able to get some rest, that might be able to help us if we spend some time searching around and asking, but...
How many people are in this room?
A few dozen.
I agree that we're not going to be able to have dozens and dozens of us going along this passageway underneath the bubble. So
I'm going to turn out to the room and yell out,
Please listen to me now. Is there anyone amongst you that would be willing to go outside the wall with us and fight?
And the low course of kind of chatter here as people are eating their rations, and again, this what they're handing out is nothing extravagant by any means. It is basically like traveling rations, like the lot of you would be carrying yourself. And as soon as you mention going outside, the silence across the room, and it's like everyone even just kind of stops eating, like even like mid bite and chew, like everyone just kind of looks at you like almost like agape, like what? We are not going outside. You do not get any volunteers piping up in this room.
Do any of you know of anyone that might be willing? We must fight back.
I'm honestly a little bit ashamed to call myself a citizen of Heraklion. Surely some of you are capable and willing to do something to protect your city. This is where you call home.
Could you make a persuasion check with advantage because of Shakara's speech as well?
16.
Both of your words kind of linger in the air for a few seconds, and you do see an older gentleman stand up, a little wobbly on his knees, a human, and he does regard you. He kind of gives you both a nod, and yes, I will do what I can. And at his side, you see a younger human kind of pulling on his sleeve. No, father, no, we're safe here. We're safe in the city. We cannot go outside. He kind of swats away his son's hand, and still continues to stand ready to join your cause.
Does he look like he'll be more of a hindrance than a help?
Well, I don't know. He looks like a wizard. I mean, he's wearing a pair of robes.
Well, is he like a Gandalf wizard or like a like a guy who doesn't remember his name wizard?
You could probably put him at early 60s, maybe.
Okay.
In
so
his
we're not talking
prime for a
Alzheimer's.
wizard. Come on.
What's your name, friend?
My name is Makar.
Makar, well met. I applaud your bravery. We could certainly use your help.
What are you planning? A frontal assault?
Well, I think we're going to try to use some tactical wit in this.
I sort of hold my hand up to Falzern for a second, and I'll go, let's come back to him. Let's go look someplace else first. Thanks, pal. We'll be in touch.
And you see his son kind of gives an audible sigh as his father sits back down to continue with his breakfast.
So I'll sort of look at the others and I'll go, the other problem we have here is any of these bastards could be deep scions. I don't even know if we really want to trust anybody else.
You guys, when did we decide to leave the city walls and take them head on? I don't remember being part of this conversation.
You added the word head on. I said we sneaky like we did before.
I know that she's not good, but Isabella wants Erica dead. Why don't we try to track her down, get her to help us?
I do not believe I trust anything that Isabella says now.
Okay.
I go over and poke Falzern's chest and I'll go, that's why.
Okay, fine. I don't think that a handful of us and some 60-year-old wizards are gonna make it through a tunnel out to face 50% of the army, the better half probably, staying out there. What happened to calling Grimby and getting the heck out of here?
That's an
We
option.
cannot leave the city to this fate.
I agree, but we cannot...
The plan's not to take on the army. The plan's to kill
We cannot take on an
Erica.
army as a handful of people.
But if we kill Erica, problem solved.
How does killing Erica... what? Are these people just gonna back down and stop fighting the second we kill Erica?
We're gonna have to kill Erica, we're gonna have to kill Alamar, and we're gonna have to kill Isabella. Other than that, we're all in this mess until they kill us.
I agree with
I don't
Shaft.
think that army's gonna back down just by killing Erica. I don't know.
If we kill Erica, then we can take your plan and pop on the ship with Grimby and get the hell out of here as far as I'm concerned.
You lop off the head, and the body withers. There will be confusion. They will not know what to do. They will no longer be an organized strike.
I defer to your judgment in this situation. I've been a lone traveler for my part of adventuring. I don't have experience in this type of warfare.
And I agree with Shaft. That old man would be... I do not even believe he could make it to the fight. We need younger, hardier souls with us.
Dreg kind of interjects. Please keep in mind that everyone here, they fled here to seek shelter when everything happened last night. I am certainly not in charge of any type of counterattack. The knowledge center, that's where we've kind of set up our base of operations. Without any elders around, we don't know where Alamar is. You say Geneva was that creature. We are at a bit of a loss. As far as I know, no one has even seen Isabella either. A lot of good that she has done since she's indoctrinated. All I know is I need to keep the safety shell up. And that is the city's best survival. And that is what I am focusing on.
Yes.
So why don't we do this? You come down with us, get us through the shell, and then you can come back up with the ring. You don't have to leave it with us.
I can certainly let you out of the city. I fear for your safety.
Don't bother worrying about us. We tend to make it through regardless.
Should we ask for volunteers at the Knowledge Center?
I don't know if anybody's going to be of any value. We can't put our trust in anybody, as we've known since we came here to Heraklion. Everybody we've trusted has turned on us.
Yes, I see your point.
Yeah, as helpful as a few extra wizards would be, it would be disastrous if we were getting attacked from behind as well as focusing on the front when we take on these forces out here. We don't want to bring along a handful of people that end up being traitors. That would completely destroy any chance of success.
I just don't see how we're gonna do it, you guys.
We never really know until it happens.
That is true.
We must go survey the situation.
Yeah, why don't we head over to the knowledge center? Another thing that might be worth doing is trying to contact Captain Chum. If we're able to do that, are you able to do that, Mia?
Yeah, and fight from the boat, or what?
It might be good to know before we go under this safety shield if we can even rely on being able to get onto the boat. I mean, it'd be nice to know the state of our boat and Grimby as well.
Ask Grimby's boat.
You guys, I'm so confused. Are we fighting, or are we leaving on the boat?
I think the first thing we're going to do is figure out what the hell's going on out there and see if we can kill Erica, and we'll decide what to do at that point.
Can we please scout first before I burn spell slots?
Well, all I'm suggesting is it would be nice to know if we have a plan B for escape. Once we get outside of this shield, we're not getting back in.
Well, she can always message Dreg here, and he can come and get us.
Right, but I mean, okay.
The spell sends one way or the other.
Yep. I don't think we know what's happening yet. Let's go find out.
Let's go to the knowledge center and scout from there. We can probably hear from the front lines what's happening.
Agreed. Let's go.
To the knowledge center.
As you step outside, you see that this storm is still raging in full force, which may seem a little odd, especially to Shakara and Mia after some of their reading about a Kraken's lair. As an ongoing storm was part of that description. But as you make your way down to the city, down to the knowledge center, you see, much like you saw in the lecture hall, there are many people out here basically moving and like piling bodies. And you see up far above the safety shell, still intact, but there's kind of this haze of smoke from the burning buildings that have been extinguished now. But it's lingering at the top of this dome, unable to escape.
And this storm is within the dome?
It is outside of the dome, so there's no rainfall within the city because of the dome. But it is still raging outside, and even that rain on tin sound is kind of a similar sound that's happening on the outside of this shell in full
yes, the rain
raging
on a
force.
magical dome. I've heard it many times before.
Oh yeah, something we're much familiar with. And nothing that gets me to sleep easier than the rain on the outside of a Lehman's tiny hut.
Yes.
So since the city is on an incline, if we were to go to the knowledge center second floor and look out the window, would we be able to see over the wall and out what's beyond the wall?
Well, if you actually went all the way up to the anchor point, which is on the fourth floor, the tallest points, and remember it was in a glass solarium, you would get a very good vantage point, absolutely.
Hey, let's head up to the solarium on the fourth floor and look out and see if we can see what the army outside is doing.
Good idea.
Sure, that sounds good.
And as you get down to the knowledge center, you passing people by, you pick up kind of general chatter going. It's like many of them there's not real direction yet. They're kind of just following suit with a bunch of other people and pitching in and piling the dead, really unsure of what to do. Falzern would certainly know that customarily in Heraclon, because of the island that it is situated on, there is no tillable soil or diggable soil to bury the dead. So cremation is the modus operandi as far as disposing of the deceased, which actually does happen in the evocation center, suitingly. But people are unsure of that. They don't want to do them as they are looking above them and seeing the smoke from the ruined buildings not escaping the safety of the shell. So that's kind of a bit of the chatter you pick up, and there are like dozens of dead. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of dead from both sides. Much of which you witnessed on your way back up to the keep last night. You come down, though, to rounding the side of the knowledge center, and you come across what looks like the ruins of a musical instrument. A very familiar-looking lute.
Oh.
And kind of sprinkled on the ground, 3 or 4 white Aarakocra feathers.
I will run over to the lute and... Can I pick it up, or is it just in pieces?
Yeah, you grab the neck and pick it up, and it's just falls apart, and you immediately recognize the symbol of Dendar that was stenciled into the face of it, just in ruins and splinters.
So I can't even, like, pick up a piece, the engraved pieces that were in it?
You could probably salvage them, try to salvage them. They may be missing parts of it, but you could get most of what's intact there for sure.
I will salvage as much as I can, and then I will look around.
Shakara,
Keck.
what are you doing?
This was Keck's loot.
Oh, no. Where's Keck?
Does anybody see Keck?
I mean,
I look up.
I'm not
Nope.
sure I want to see Keck, to be honest, but that's a different that's a different story.
Kind of in the closest gathering of bodies to a quick glance, you don't see any signs of an Aarakocra whatsoever.
I don't see her over here, Shakara. I mean, maybe she made it out okay. Maybe she's being mended somewhere else.
I hope so. I shall keep these pieces of her loot safe until we see her again.
As much as she caused a bit of kerfuffle, I certainly wouldn't wish any harm upon her. I hope that she was able to get away.
Oh, Falzarin, you're so nice. She tried to kill you.
Well, I'm not sure what her motives were. She may have just been confused.
She was doing what she felt was right at the time.
I think you might be right, Shakara.
Her music speaks for itself.
I sort of shake my head and I walk onto the knowledge center.
And as you walk in, it seems like it's kind of about as busy as it was last night. There are still many people in here. Some of them are kind of stretched out on bedrolls, half asleep. A lot of people that are seemingly, again, they look very, much like Dreg, they look very tired. But you come across the librarian that was there last night handing out the scroll quivers, and she's actually surrounded by Jacqueline, the Dragonborn that you met with Dreg, and Tenchi and Hef. And they're in some type of conversation.
I'll walk over to that conversation.
And Tenchi sees you. My friend! You're alive!
Hey, Tenchi. How's Trix?
Well, they could be better.
Yeah, I bet. How's things down at the tavern?
You see Hef, he kind of, his head hangs at the mention of the tavern. Oh, well, tavern's gone, eh?
It's gone.
It's, totally blown up in the attack, eh?
What happened? What happened in the attack?
Tenchi kind of speaks up again. Well, we barely got out of there. Luckily, we were able to get Biff and Jacqueline were able to escape. Hef and I have made our way. I don't know if if you saw one of my famous tattoos got us out of that jam for sure. But 1 second enjoying a drink and boom, the place is on fire. The walls blown in, just chaos.
Did you see what was attacking?
We just saw the cultists and the creatures and the undead swarming the shores.
And the ship that we came in on, was it still at port?
Well, what ship is that?
The domed ship.
The one that looks like a shell.
There were many shelled ships. That's what the attackers were filing in on.
If your bar's blown up, I can't get a tattoo. I'm the only one without one. Hi, Tenchi. I'm Mia. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure. I assure you. Once this is all over, I'll be back up and running. Well, on the DL, I'll be back up and running.
Of course. I would love to get a tat.
Have you seen an Aarakocra named Keck?
Haps kind of speaks up. Oh, the 377, eh?
Yes.
She's a mighty performer.
Have you seen her recently?
Well, she was actually in earlier yesterday, eh? Looking for you, I think.
But you have not seen her today.
No, sorry.
She was looking for me yesterday.
Yeah, she said she'd been looking all over for you, eh? Had something to speak about.
She did not leave any message?
No, not with me.
Thank you.
Hey, Tenchi, the package. Is it,
I'm afraid we might need to renegotiate our arrangement. I couldn't do anything. I don't know what's happened to it.
Okay.
it was my life or it. I assure you understand.
No, I understand. I think it would probably be relatively safe where it was. I mean, you tell me.
I did close up shop before I left, yes. So perhaps it remains intact.
Okay.
Well, this is all very interesting, fellas. But, what?
Want to help us take this army on, face on? I mean, let's go. We're about to break this bubble and let's go. Apparently we can do it.
We're all looking for anyone who might be interested in helping take on these villains outside of the wall that are trying to attack our beloved city of Heraklion. Anyone who's able-bodied and willing to fight.
Well, actually, that is just what we were speaking about. I mean, there's certainly the force that we were able to muster last night. I imagine they'll be itching to deal more damage to these attackers. None of us, I'm afraid, are much for tactics.
Is there any plan so far?
Well, we don't even know how to get out of the shell. The only chance for an attack is to drop it as far as we can see. We do have some the cannons that we were able to liberate from the invading forces, at least on our side. Though, from outside the walls, it still seems like they outnumber us. As far as artillery goes, anyway.
We have a way to get out, but we cannot take any cannons with us. You could only take what you can carry.
We can't take a large army either.
Yeah, Tenchi, you seem like a guy that's in the know. Is there a way to somehow get down to the port without being seen?
I think you should possibly go up top and take a look for yourself.
Well, that's a good idea. That's part of the reason we came here, so we'd like to see what's happening out there since we've last been out.
Doesn't sound good, guys. Let's go.
Come on, come with us.
And he does, of course. He leaves the rest of them to their talks and takes you up to the top floor here. The window still, of course, shattered. The casters around the anchor still doing their chants and their rituals. As you get in there, you see like the reserve team, right? They're very clearly resting in this room, and it doesn't seem like they're going very far from each other as far as being able to relieve one another when someone needs a break. And there are other people up there, though. You see there's a couple of them with spyglasses keeping an eye on the outside force on the other side of the wall.
Hey, friend, do you think I could borrow that looking glass and take a peek for myself?
Yeah, and you see Tenchi kind of gives the guy a nod, and he hands over. And the other one will kind of put it out to the group of you, to whomever would like to take it.
I'll take it.
So there's two of these. So Shakara and Falzarin will have a bit more of a better view here. Even without spyglasses, Mia and Shaft, you can see now in the relative daylight, as it is still storming and very overcast, obviously. But lined up on the path to the front walls, you see that there's been a bunch of, it looks like there's been hastily erected tents. Kind of almost three distinct clusters of them. Still that line of cannons that they do seem to have ceased firing. Shakara and Falzarin, with your spyglasses, being able to get this telescopic view, you make out in these three clusters, there's in each one there is a very distinctly different tent, much larger tent, and they're kind of, the majority of them are nestled along the sections of the mountainous terrain that flank the path from the port to the city. So it seems like the forces are kind of occupying this entire space between those mountains and the city wall themselves, and there are still upwards of 200 people out here, it looks like, just kind of milling about all over the place. And you spy another kind of cluster of different tents. They're kind of surrounded by these wooden fences, and you see people milling in and out of them, carrying boxes, possibly supplies or something. And right at the base of the path, where the path meets the northern section of these surrounding mountains, you see just a 50 or so of the barrels that you witness the cultists dragging in and spraying down the dead with this black ooze. Just a a whole pile of them. Something, though, that I think would probably immediately catch your eye. There are 3 what look like pools of this kind of reddish black liquid, and it does seem to be swirling as you kind of zoom in on these. And at each corner, or posted at a corner on each of these 3 pools, are 4 cultists, and they seem to be doing their own type of chants and stuff. And next to each of these pools, there what looks like to be a pile of emptied barrels as well. You also take note that the spread of these tents is very wide, and it looks like it would be very difficult to sneak or circumnavigate their forces to get down to the port itself.
This shaft, Mia, this is looking a bit dire, I'll be honest.
Okay, let me see.
They have many barrels of the black ooze, many cannons, and 3 groups of people that are mayhaps summoning something.
Here, let me see that and lift me up.
Tenchi will pick you up.
I'll hand him the spyglass.
Oh, crap. They're summoning something.
How do you know that's what they're doing?
The mix of people here is predominantly like cultists, like living cultists. There are very few deep scions within this cluster that you see, at least in their deep scion form anyways. And then the majority of them are more of the drowned soldiers, these people that have been resurrected by means of the black ooze. So there's very still clearly living people here that do obviously need some type of living quarters and sustenance here, which would explain the tents.
Looks like we're gonna have to get ourselves some cloaks.
What, you want to become a cultist? I mean, pretend.
We're gonna become a cultist until we get up to what we gotta do. Don't you think that's the only way to blend in?
There does not appear to be any way around them.
I think we're gonna go there. And I point, sort of say, the 2 nicer tents down there. I think that's where we're gonna find what we need to eliminate.
There are 3 of them.
I look again. Oh yeah, 3.
And how do we plan to get from, outside the bubble to this camp without being obvious cultists walking towards the camp?
They are milling about.
Not that close to the wall, though.
We'll get there.
Valzrin, how many can you make invisible?
Well, the trouble with my ability to make people invisible is that it's very difficult to make a group of people invisible. I really can only do about 2. And then I can't hold concentration to be able to do all 4 of us, unfortunately.
Do you know any other wizards that may also be able to cast this spell?
It's certainly possible. It requires some skill and some training in the arcane arts, but it shouldn't be that uncommon, I wouldn't think.
I'm sure we could find someone, but I mean, how long does that last? How did we get out? You said you had a way, but can you walk right out the front gates?
No, it's a bit more secretive than that.
Well, say no more. Probably safest. The fewer people know,
I was
the
going
better.
to say it's probably not best discussed until it's time to go.
And how long does the spell last?
It'll buy us 60 minutes, about thereabouts of sneaking around.
So if we can get Dreg to take us down all the way to where we come out, have somebody with us that casts the invisibility, then they can go back and we have an hour to do what we need to do.
Yes, so long as that person is able to hold their concentration for the 60 minutes, we should be good. But that's the trouble, is should their concentration falter for whatever reason, the spell will be broken.
They do not have to come with us.
No, they just have to be around us when they cast it, and then we're free to leave.
Perfect. So you don't even have to cast it. Let's find some wizards to come with us. Sit somewhere where they won't even be bothered. Their concentration will be sure to hold.
Perfect.
All right, Tenchi, you and Hef, Jacqueline and Biff, let's all go find some people. What do we want to keep it to? How many people we want to go down with? Should we ask Dreg that?
We just need Dreg and enough people to make us all invisible.
And some cultist cloaks?
And some cultist cloaks. There ought to be some laying out there on the bodies.
Oh, that should not be a problem pilfering from the dead, not at all. I mean, I'm sure we could find somebody to accompany you, but what then? Surely you're not just fleeing the city.
No, we're gonna take out their leaders.
In the middle of an army's encampment?
That's the plan.
How will you get out?
We'll worry about that when we get in that situation.
You see him kind of like pinch the bridge of his nose, like bow his... I have something that may help. I've been tinkering with it. It's a little experimental. No real guarantees it will work the way I want it to work. For the low price friend discount of 30 gold pieces. Just kidding. There's no time to make a profit. And he pulls out this orb.
You had me at may not work as intended. Say no more.
He pulls out this orb. I've been experimenting with this orb of modified silence. I'm sure Falzer here would know silence could hamper his own abilities should you cast it. Yes, you would make no sound, but you would not be able to cast spells. But the sphere in which this creates ideally allows people inside the sphere to still make noise, but nothing escape it. Much, actually, like this shell around us. Again, I have not had much time to test, but perhaps you can use this.
That is brilliant. Thank you. That would be extremely useful for this situation.
I do only have one, and it is only a one shot. You know my wares. Just use them once.
How big of a sphere does it make?
Yeah, how big of a sphere?
It is a 20-foot radius.
Oh, nice.
How long should it last?
Well, that's, again, part of the kinks that I've yet to work out. I really couldn't say.
Fantastic. It sounds exactly like the kind of sphere we need.
It's just like our plans. Half-assed.
And that's our... whatever. Hey, Incorrigibles. Incorrigiblites. Definitely not Lelanders. Thanks for listening. We all super appreciate you following along with our adventure. If you could take a few seconds to rate us on iTunes or wherever you listen to us, that would be great. We'd love your feedback, and it really helps our show grow. And if you like us, recommend us to a friend. If you hate us, recommend us to a friend, or share us on social media. Leland's got so much more up his sleeves, and it's a totally original homebrew. We would love to have more friends following along. We'd love to interact with you guys on Twitter at IncorrigiblePar. On Instagram and Facebook, we're at IncorrigibleParty. All our socials can be found on IncorrigibleParty.com. And on our site, you can get merchandise, character info, world lore, etc. This podcast was sponsored by Critical Hit Design at criticalhitdesign.com. Thanks to Tabletop Audio for allowing us to use any ambient sounds or music during our show. Intro and outro by Josh Jarvis. Contact him at jamesmercymusic@gmail.com for inquiries. Catch you next time!